If it was truly poltergeist activity, surely you would have heard something. Can you ask Derek that for me?
Yeah, if it was, David is just saying, if it's poltergeist activity, surely we would have heard something. Why wouldn't we have heard?
Not necessarily. These are boxes. They're not, you know, either wood or metal. And for a spirit person, okay, to gently move boxes, they're not very heavy, you wouldn't hear very much noise, would you?
No, and Kieran, you checked them over with a torch. They are empty, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, there's a few little bits of paper in the bottom and a few little scraps of things in the top, but apart from that, they're completely empty.
OK, well, we'll keep an eye on that. We know now, because we filmed it, we've got it, we've caught it, we know what position it is in. OK, Matthew, what do you think to this?
Well, I wanted to ask you, you said that Kieran had no ready explanation for it, but can we ask him to see, because obviously he's there, he's got more of a sense of where the crew and other people have been. You know, what would be his, potential explanation for what might have happened there?
Well, I think the difficulty is what we've got an example of is non-recurrent, spontaneous phenomena.
Look toward the camera, don't you?
And yes, we were in the other room, so the difficulty is that we didn't have a locked-off camera here, so we don't know if there is a natural explanation for what's going on.
OK. All right, well, there are the boxes. That is... I'm speechless. What do the viewers at home think? Do they think it's paranormal? If so, who do they think's caused it? Please ring in. Is anything moving in their home while the programme's going out? Please let us know. Please call in. It's so important. And keep your eye on those webcams, because if this has already happened and we've only just started, what else could happen? We're relying on you to help us out here. So Carl and Kath, do you want to make your way up to the top, and we'll reposition to the kitchen? So it's back to you, David. Let's go reposition.
Thanks very much indeed. Well, as Yvette says, what do you think at home? Give us a ring, 08712 448804, 08712 448804. Do you think that someone picked them up, popped those boxes in that room without them noticing, or do you think that is really paranormal activity? Now, Matthew, let me just ask you, because you grimaced at Kieran's response. You're not convinced at all, are you?
No, I think my feelings echo Kieran, the fact that it's unfortunate that that room doesn't have a locked-off camera in it. Maybe now we could, if there's opportunity, to put a camera there to see if anything else is going to happen. Also, it's unfortunate, again, nothing like that happening in the rooms where there are cameras, which some people might say, well, that's very typical of paranormal phenomena. They don't perform on demand. They don't always want to perform, or things happen when you've got the cameras on them. But it's also kind of an easy way out. It also means that if it was someone playing a trick, of course, they're not going to choose to do that in a room where a camera might have picked them up. So, very curious, very unusual. I'm not surprised to say I'm not 100% convinced.
Can I take you back to a few months ago? There was an incident involving a spoon, I recall.
I vaguely remember that, yes.
And how does this relate to that? Because, again, when we had the spoon, which was allegedly thrown, you again felt that was highly implausible, I felt.
No, I think, again, in terms of trying to interpret what's going on, I think you're left with these kinds of quite gross occurrences. You can't say, oh, that was not, doesn't mean. These are boxes apparently stacked up in such a way that it would either have to be somebody doing it or something, in quotes, paranormal. And that's why you do have to address the possibility that someone might be playing a trick, because that's your most likely normal explanation. But if you can rule that out, then you're left with some very strong evidence.
OK, you were at the castle this afternoon. You know that there's no one else there. Do you honestly believe someone would have played a trick?
Well, there were very few people there when I was there this afternoon. Even when we see on the webcams, for example, the number of people in that crew, can we really be sure we can account for everybody at all times?
One of the soundmen, for example, popped out, got the boxes, whipped them into another room and then ran back in without anyone noticing?
Well, again, I don't want to get into a position where we're trying to accuse people, but the problem is with that large numbers of people in the crew, you can't always account for everybody at all times.
What about you, David Wells?
I mean, I can see where Matthew's coming from. I really understand his argument. It's very typical of poltergeist, though, to stack things. It's something they seem to do quite a lot. The problem with poltergeist activity is people will always expect to see something fly through it, like a spoon.
I guess that's what we want to see.
We want to see that, but very often
Have
it just
you seen
happens.
that?
I've seen furniture where it shouldn't be. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
How extraordinary. Has anyone in the audience actually witnessed any poltergeist activity, or feel that they've actually witnessed anything similar to this? Yes. Let's go over here. Let's go over and talk to you. Oh, sorry. Right, where are you? Yes, sir. What's your name?
Billy.
Billy, where are you from?
I'm from Derby.
And tell me what's happened to you.
Well, I was actually involved in the séance in the jail on Friday night. when the stool got turned upside down.
Okay.
So, and we shut the door, and I was in charge of it. We locked it off. Nobody could get anywhere near there. We made sure nobody went near there. The door opened, so I went down, closed the door off, turned the camera off. When we went back in there again, the stool was upside down on the bed.
And you consider yourself to be a rational human being, do you?
Absolutely, yeah.
And are you a believer? Were you a believer before you went into Derby Jail?
I am a believer, yeah.
And you were before?
Yes, I was, yeah.
And what do you make of this cardboard boxes?
It's the same again. I mean, like David Wells said, you know, this kind of podcast activity is the normal. You know, it's not like throwing things about. It is things like stacking up. I think Richard's been involved with something with a couple of books as well in the past episode. So.
It's extraordinary. Thank you very much. Is there anyone else who's actually experienced anything similar? Yes, let's go over to you over here. Let me just... Where are you? Where have you gone? There you are. Let me just squeeze in. What's your name?
Craig.
Craig, what have you experienced?
At my father's house in Nottingham. He lived in an old Victorian house. They dated it from the 1800s plus. He wasn't exactly sure the original owner, but he really wanted to get rid of this house, so much in fact that he was pretty much giving it away. My dad took up on the offer, and there was an attic upstairs, and then like across from the edge of the room there's a little door. Inside was a stool, just one stool on its own in like one room. My dad took it downstairs and broke it by accident, chucked it down the stairs. And left it at the bottom of the stairs in pieces. The next morning, he went downstairs and the chair was perfectly like back in one piece again at the bottom of the stairs, as if someone wanted it back. But they've all seen people in there, like smells of perfume of like people that have lived there before. So.
And you're convinced this is paranormal?
Definitely.
I'll tell you what, it's very odd. Thank you very much for that, Julian.
Right, David, first of all, here are some of the names that our viewers are coming up with regarding the woman Derek made contact with. Among them are Ruby Maria Foote and Eliza Jane Maguire. Someone's also sent us the last name of Hestain. And of course, Psychic Art, we like to receive this. And is this Charles Stanhope? He's got a moustache. There he is. That one's just come in on the facts. Also, another moustache. Which is similar, that's come through. This one's got long hair but also has a moustache there. Standing behind Derek at 9:50. You can see that one there from Sutton and Surrey by Gaynor. So keep the psychic art coming in, please. Behind me, Jane here with some predictions. Jane, how's it going?
Well, right at the top of the show, several people reported predictions to us again, and they felt that the team would experience certain physical, have certain physical experiences. Louise in Wales felt they would have flu-like symptoms, and several people thought they would have pains in their legs tonight. And just a very quick update on the key experiment. Viewers are saying that they're getting a sense that the key's from a room that was secretive and that it's not what it's supposed to be. Tarot reader Dean Johnson thinks it's to a room high up in the castle somewhere.
Okay, that's good stuff. Thank you very much indeed, Jane. David, back to you.
Can I just ask you something there? The guy with the moustache, was that meant to be Charles Stanhope, did you say?
That's what a couple of the faxes say. Is this Charles Stanhope?
I'm going to ask the boys in history corner, have you got drawings of Charles Stanhope, what he might look like?
Yeah, we have actually got a picture. Well, yes, it is actually.
Has he got a moustache?
Not on this picture, no. Unfortunately not.
No?
The type of moustache is probably later Victorian.
Okay. Does anyone have a picture at home of Charles Stanhope? If you have, let us know. Get in contact in the way that Julian told us. Right, we're moving now to our fourth location, to the kitchen. It's situated on the ground floor to the rear of the building. Now, in the kitchen, a scullery maid has been seen here and around the castle, and rumours abound that she is the ghost of a girl who killed herself after becoming pregnant by the Earl's friend. And equipment in the kitchen is reported to switch on and off on its own, and locals believe that the sound of raindrops could be the ghostly maggots which used to fall from pheasants and from game hanging in the kitchen. All very nice indeed. But let's find out tonight what's happening in the kitchen.